Four Gates hand sparring is a simple set to condition the arms and upper body for combat. It gets its name from the pattern of the set, which travels along four directions on the floor. This set repeats its pattern several times, with only a few minor variations. Although the partners do exchange roles, this only occurs once. One partner serves as the attacker for the majority of this set. This set will be taught in 9 lessons. Each lesson will have multiple repetitions. In these repetitions, descriptions of hand techniques will precede footwork, and the footwork is minimal. Sifu Lam, wearing the blue uniform, will be referred to as Blue. His student in gray will be called Gray. Blue's movements will be described first. Both partners start the same. Bring both fists into center. Double punch up, then down. Left uppercut, right elbow, and right fist salute. Left elbow and left fist salute. Double back fist, circle, and punch down. Start standing straight. Turn the right shoulder back, then crouch. Step forward, right foot first to a crouch. Keep the legs together in a crouch, maintaining a strong foundation. Step back to a right bow. Both partners start facing each other. The partners should be 2 steps out of combat distance. Following the salutes and step back, Gray jumps forward to right bow, grabbing Blue's shoulders with both hands. This opening salute sequence is synchronized between partners. Both partners use this to get a sense of their partner's timing. Each movement should be the mirror image of the partners. Blue presses down and back fists. Gray blocks. Blue grabs and locks. Gray grabs Blue's wrist with his left hand and locks. Blue punches. Gray blocks. Blue punches again and Gray blocks. Blue punches. Gray grabs and pulls. Blue pulls and strikes. Gray jumps back to right bow. Both double punch down. Blue presses down with his left forearm and strikes with a right back fist to Gray's face. Blue grabs with his right, then presses his left forearm to Gray's upper arm. Blue hook punches to Gray's left temple, then coils his left to strike Blue's flank. Blue coils his right and punches to Gray's chest. Blue grabs Gray's elbow, then strikes with his left palm to Gray's flank. Gray grabs Blue's wrist and elbow. Gray grabs Blue's left wrist with his left, then presses his right forearm to Blue's upper arm. Blue blocks Gray's wrist and elbow with his outside wrist. Gray blocks his flank, then grabs Blue's wrist and elbow. Gray jumps back, pivoting to evade the flank strike. Blue pulls back before pressing down to break Gray's grip. Gray pulls Blue's arm up, then Blue twists his arm to grab Gray's wrist. When grabbing and pressing the forearm into the upper arm, extend and twist the attacked arm. Gray counters 3 punches from Blue. Gray twists Blue's arm over his own forearm. Blue breaks the grip and punches. Gray grabs Blue's arm. Blue locks the arm, then Gray reverses the lock. Blue punches to get out. Gray locks again. And Blue punches to get out. Blue punches and Gray locks the arm. Blue reverses the lock into an opening for a strike. Gray follows the pull to pivot and escape, jumping back to bow. Blue jumps in and grabs Gray's shoulders. Gray breaks the grip and punches. Blue grabs Gray's arm. Blue grabs Gray's wrist with his right hand. Gray locks the arm, then Blue reverses the lock. Gray punches to get out, Blue locks again, and Gray punches to get out. Gray punches and Blue locks the arm. Gray reverses the lock into an opening for a strike. Blue jumps and pivots to evade. Blue jumps to right bow, grabbing Gray's shoulders. Blue grabs Gray's wrist and elbow. Blue grabs Gray's wrist and extends Gray's left arm, pressing it with his forearm. Blue double blocks his temple, then blocks his flank with his right, then grabs Gray's forearm at the wrist and elbow. Blue pivots and jumps back to right bow. Gray presses down with his left to break the hold, then strikes to Blue's face. Gray grabs Blue's wrist, then locks with his forearm. Gray strikes with a right hook to the temple, then a left hook to the flank, then a straight punch to the chest. Gray grabs Blue's elbow and strikes to the flank, then double punches down. Gray jumps in and punches. Blue blocks. Gray punches again. Blue blocks, chops, and punches. Gray pulls Blue's arm. Blue grabs Gray's wrist and elbow. Blue blocks with his right, then chops, then punches with his left. Blue shifts to a right twist. Gray jumps in with a right punch in right bow. Gray punches with a left hook to Blue's temple. Gray grabs Blue's wrist and elbow and pulls to his left. Both partners coil their rear fist. Blue pulls his chop since there is no block for it, so that his palm stops just above Gray's neck. Both partners pivot to right bow, 90 degrees to floor center line, blocking low with the right fist. Gray circles his arm and punches. The sequence of lesson 4 is repeated at this angle. Both partners pivot to right bow, returning to floor center line, blocking low with their right fist. Blue pivots and blocks low. Blue withdraws his right fist. Blue grabs Gray's wrist and elbow. Blue blocks with his right, then chops, then punches with his left. Blue pivots and blocks low. Gray pivots and blocks low. Gray circles his arm to clear Blue's forearm. Gray jumps in with a right punch and right bow. Gray punches with a left hook. Gray grabs Blue's forearm and pulls to his left. Gray pivots and blocks low. Blue circles his arm, steps in and punches. The sequence of lesson 4 is repeated with both partners changing roles. Both partners pivot to right bow, 90 degrees to floor center line, blocking low with their right fist. Blue circles his arm, pushing Gray's arm to the side. He steps in with a right punch to the stomach. Blue punches with a left hook to Gray's temple. Blue then hooks Gray's left punch with his left wrist. He grabs Gray's arm with his right. Blue coils his right fist by his left shoulder, then blocks low. Gray withdraws his right fist and slides back to adjust the distance. Gray grabs Blue's wrist and elbow with his right hand on the elbow. Gray blocks with his right hand, then chops to Blue's neck without touching him. Gray punches to Blue's chest, coils his right fist by his shoulder, then blocks down. Gray circles his fist to make an opening for a right punch. The sequence of lesson 4 is repeated. Both partners step to left bow, returning to floor center line, then shift to right bow for the low block. Blue withdraws his right fist. Blue grabs Gray's wrist and elbow. Blue blocks with his right hand, palm out. He chops with his right, then punches with his left. Blue pivots and blocks low, crossing Gray's arm at the wrist. Gray circles his arm to clear Blue's forearm. Gray jumps in with a right punch in right bow. Gray punches with a left hook. Gray grabs Blue's forearm at the wrist and elbow and pulls to his left. Gray pivots to right bow and blocks low. Here the sequence is shown again. Blue clears and punches low. Gray grabs, and Blue punches high. Gray blocks. Blue intercepts the chop, then strikes to Gray's flank. Gray jumps back and pivots. Both partners punch down. Blue circles his arm, steps in and punches straight. Blue hook punches to Gray's temple. Blue blocks up with his right to Gray's elbow, then strikes with his left palm. Blue punches down with both fists. Gray withdraws his fist and adjusts the distance. Gray grabs Blue's forearm, then blocks high with his right. Gray begins to chop, then jumps back, pivoting to right bow. Gray punches down with both fists to waist level. Again, the sequence is shown. Both partners step back to a crouch and double punch up, then down. Left uppercut, right elbow, and right fist salute. Left elbow and left fist salute. Double punch up, draw fists into center, step back, and stand straight. Relax your arms. Punch up to face level. Down to waist level. Squeeze your elbow in tightly for the elbow strikes. When standing in a crouch, squeeze your legs together, tightening and locking your lower body. Your posture should be slightly S-shaped. This closing sequence is the mirror of the opening sequence. Again, match your partner's movements and timing. Here the set is shown in slow motion. Most sparring sets are composed like solitary sets. Often, sets will repeat a pattern with a slight variation for the repetition to make sure that the practitioners are alert. If their attention wanes, they might miss the variation and repeat the first pattern exactly the same. This will usually ruin the order of the movements. For sparring sets, the same theory often holds true. However, a failure to follow the pattern seldom occurs on both sides at the same time. A mistake in a sparring set will leave one of the partners open to an attack. This set is asymmetrical, in which one partner takes the majority of the attacker roles. To even out the training, partners must change roles. When practicing sparring sets, you should be more flexible in your recitals. If you stick to the set, and your partner does not, you may get hit. When this occurs, even though you may be in right, you will still get hit. Always be ready to protect yourself. Be alert within the pattern of the set, never relying on it to defend you. Rather, look upon it as a framework for training complex patterns of attack with a partner. Never let yourself be hit, no matter what the set calls for. Remember, traditional Kung Fu sparring begins with sparring sets. As the students become proficient in the pattern, a movement would be altered to keep the student alert. Eventually, these alterations can generate a new set, or may break down into free-form combat. In any case, both partners must remain aware of their openings. Again, the set is shown at normal speed. Practice this set like an extended blocking routine. This set will toughen the forearms and upper bodies of both practitioners when practiced regularly. Keep your body and arms loose until the moment of impact, then become hard to absorb the blow. The stance work in this set is minimal, so practitioners should have little difficulty maintaining a solid foundation. Make your strikes true. However, always be ready to pull your punch. Your intention should never be to harm your partner. You seek to harden your partner's body and help them discover their weaknesses and openings as they do the same to you. Work together so that both of you can achieve greater skill in the martial arts.